At a friend's party, my fiancée and young master Gia share a full-on French kiss right in front of me. I'm so furious I smash my wine glass on the spot, but they just laugh it off, telling me it's only a game and I'm taking it too seriously. I look at the mess on the floor and smile. Fine, if it's a game then let's keep playing. The game starts again and this time I lose. I pick dare without a second thought. They tell me to kiss any girl in the room. Lily sits back on the sofa, completely relaxed, wearing that look that says she's absolutely sure I'll pick her. Too bad, she's about to be very disappointed. I walk straight toward Nina Frost, the one Marcus could never have. That single move leaves Lily and her whole crew completely speechless. Eli, what are you doing? Lily is right here. Marcus puts on his most wounded expression and stares at me, then has the nerve to say, Eli, we were literally just playing a game. Why won't you believe us? I let out a cold laugh and fire back without holding back. With a scene that hot, if there'd been a bed nearby you'd have already used it. And you're telling me it's just a game? You think I'm 3 years old? As I walk toward Nina, the corner of my eye catches Marcus's handsome face twisting with rage. His hands clench into tight fists. Inside, I'm quietly panicking. Nina's presence is overwhelming. I haven't even reached her yet, and I already feel like she could swallow me whole. But I keep my face calm. Nina watches me with genuine curiosity, like she can't wait to see what I do next. I force myself to walk right up to her. I ask quietly, Nina, do you remember me? She gives a small nod. She remembers running into me in the woods. Then with a half smile, she asks, not wandering around lost today? That nearly knocks me off my feet. This woman does not hold back. Nina, you said last time that if I ever needed help, I could come to you. Does that offer still stand? I ask carefully. Nina's friends exchange glances, clearly sensing something between us. Lily and her group are practically catching flies, their mouths hanging open. None of them can believe I actually know the head of the Frost family. Marcus sees me talking casually with the woman he's obsessed with, and his face goes an ugly shade of dark red. I can almost hear what's going through his head. What right does some country boy from the mountains have to stand there and talk to Nina Frost? Nina sets down her glass and waves me over. I step to her side, and up close her face is absolutely stunning. I catch myself staring. Those lashes are impossibly long. Her skin is flawless. What is her skincare routine? What do you need help with? Nina looks up and asks. I hesitate for a long moment. There's no way I can just say I want to kiss her. What if she throws me out? With every eye in the room locked on me, I grit my teeth, lean down fast, and press a quick kiss to her cheek. Nina's friends look like their jaws are about to hit the floor. They cannot believe someone just kissed Nina Frost. Is this guy about to get destroyed? The moment it's done, I spin around and try to make a run for it, but she grabs me and pulls me right down onto the sofa next to her. Nina looks at me squirming with embarrassment and decides to have some fun. Kiss me and run? She narrows her eyes. I blurt out the most useless answer possible. It was a dare. I lost. She clearly isn't buying it, so I rush to explain. I don't like women like them. Whoever wants them can have them. None of them come close to you. Nina breaks into a laugh. You like me? I stare at that gorgeous face and nod without missing a beat. I mean, who wouldn't like someone this beautiful and powerful? And rumor has it her figure is incredible too. Apparently she has toned abs. Not sure if that's true. Nina looks both annoyed and amused. She has just realized she can hear every thought in my head. She reaches over and flicks me on the head. You little creep. Kissing me is one thing, but now you're checking out my body. I look at her, indignant. That was pure appreciation, not the same thing. One of her friends spits out a mouthful of water at that. They quickly wave us off and look away. Lily's face has gone completely dark, and she storms toward me with fire in her eyes. Eli, have you lost your mind? Get over here right now. A surge of cold anger rises inside me. I casually drape my arm around Nina's shoulder and put on my most innocent face. Miss Lily, it's just a game. Why are you so worked up? I haven't even given Nina a full-on French kiss yet. At that, Marcus's eyes go red instantly. He bursts out, Eli, you've gone too far. Lily and I were genuinely just playing a game. She's your fiancé. There is nothing between us. I don't hold back for even a second. I roll my eyes and let the sarcasm pour out. Oh, so you do know she's my fiancé. Then why were you French kissing her right in front of me? Didn't think about that at all, did you? Now that you've seen me kiss the one you could never have, suddenly you're upset? Want me to do it again? Just to really get under your skin, you shameless two-faced snake? And just like that, I lean over and kiss Nina on the cheek again. Nina rests a hand lightly on my waist. She looks down at me and asks, has anyone ever told you that you have some serious nerve? Without hesitating, I steal another quick kiss on her cheek. Meeting her slightly narrowed gaze, I say with complete sincerity, yes, that's just who I am. And honestly, I'm starting to wonder whoever said this woman was cold and ruthless. She's actually pretty warm and surprisingly easy to talk to. Marcus, watching me kiss Nina again, looks like his eyes are about to shoot actual flames. He jabs a finger at me furiously. Eli, you can't just go around taking revenge like this. What you're doing is wrong. Lily's face is pure ice. Eli, I'm saying this one last time. Get over here. I stay exactly where I am, lazily playing with Nina's fingers. I let out a cold laugh and ask, and who exactly do you think you are? Eli, don't forget, I am your fiancé. Lily bites out each word. That sends me over the edge. I burst out laughing and stand up and walk right up to her face. I raise my hand and slap her hard across the face. Marcus sees it happen and screams as he rushes over to grab Lily by the arm. His face twisted with concern as he asks if she's okay. Watching their little performance, I can't help but laugh and start clapping slowly. Lily freezes, then awkwardly shoves Marcus away, but Marcus still looks at me disapprovingly. Eli, how could you hit her? Apologize right now and we'll let this go. The nerve. Let it go after an apology. I don't say a word. I just raise my hand and slap Lily again, even harder. That's my apology, I say with a cold smirk. How do you like it? Lily's friends finally snap back to reality. They scramble to get between us, demanding to know why I laid a hand on her. I sweep them with a cold stare and start laying out every single thing Lily has done. 3 months ago, we went hiking together. She got one call from Marcus and left me stranded alone halfway up the mountain. A month ago, during a heavy rainstorm, she abandoned me again because of Marcus, leaving me on the side of the road without a second thought. I ran a fever for a whole week and nearly developed pneumonia. And every single birthday, every Valentine's Day, every time we were finally alone together, Marcus's call would come right on cue and pull her away. Nina's brow furrows slightly as she speaks slowly. No wonder you look so rough when I found you in that storm. Your shirt was soaked through, mud all over you, barefoot with cuts on your feet from the rocks. One of Nina's friends chimes in with a grin. Nina, this kid looks so quiet and gentle. Didn't expect him to have such a temper. I turn around and slap Marcus without hesitation. You love taking other people's women, right? I don't want this one anymore. She's all yours. Marcus covers his stinging cheek and fights to hold back tears, still trying to talk his way out of it. You've got it all wrong. Wrong. Did I get it wrong when you faked being sick on my birthday to call her away? Or when you pretended to be followed on Valentine's Day and sent her photos every time? Do you think I'm an idiot? Lily glares at me with pure venom and grinds out, Eli, have you completely lost it? What do you want? I give her one flat, dismissive look and say without any hesitation, starting today, our engagement is over. Tomorrow, I'm sending my parents to your house to call it off officially, and I'll make sure your parents see exactly what kind of person you really are. Lily shakes with rage. This involves both our families. If you dare break this engagement, see if anyone will ever want to marry you again. My eyes land on Nina. I walk straight up to her with purpose. I take a breath and say, Nina, I'm ending my engagement. Will you marry me? The second those words leave my mouth, my face goes hot with embarrassment. But Nina doesn't respond at all. The silence stretches out awkwardly. Nina tilts her head slightly, eyes settling on me. Marry you? What exactly do I get out of that? I tilt my head back, flashing my brightest smile. You'll have a husband who is both adorable and devoted, and who will keep your bed warm every night. Pretty good deal, right? She reaches over and gently pinches my cheek. You know, you actually make a fair point. But if that's the arrangement, I think I'm getting the short end. After all, I'd have to support someone who can't cook and does absolutely nothing all day. Nina, you make so much money. You clearly need someone to help you spend it wisely. And honestly, who wouldn't want to live the easy life? Why work hard when you don't have to? I grab her arm and hold on tight. Oh, and one more thing. The Round family has twins in our genes. Imagine a matching pair of adorable babies. The hand pinching my cheek stops dead. This kid, nothing is even settled yet, and he's already daydreaming about babies. His mind jumps around way too much. Still, the thought of a matching pair of little ones is kind of appealing. She glances at her watch. Her voice goes sharp and decisive. Tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock. If you're not at the marriage registry, you can go feed the sharks. Wait, does that mean yes? I blink at her, completely lost. She levels me with a look. Do I need to say it again? No. I shake my head fast. Nina stands up, takes my hand, and starts walking me to the door. But Marcus suddenly darts out and blocks the way. He looks up at Nina, eyes wide and desperate. My brother already has a fiancée. He was just talking without thinking, making a stupid joke. I apologize on his behalf. Seeing Marcus like this, I can't help but roll my eyes. I'm laughing inside. That got to him fast. Nina calmly drapes her jacket over my shoulders and says flatly, You're in the way. I'm about to say something, but that line makes me burst out laughing, especially when I see the look on Marcus's face. The poor guy actually thought that would work. Marcus shoots me a look full of hate and squeezes his hands into fists. I put on a puzzled expression. Don't you like Lily? You were just kissing her passionately in front of everyone. Now I'm handing her over to you. Why aren't you happy about it? I even found myself a new person to get engaged to, all for your sake. Marcus's gaze drifts helplessly to Nina. Deep down, with Nina in the picture, how could Lily ever matter? 100 Lilies wouldn't add up to a fraction of Nina. He bites down on his tongue, trying to stay composed. Does what you're doing really have mom and dad's approval? I look at him with complete contempt. Of course they'll approve. I'm their biological son. You know exactly how much they love me. Don't pretend you don't. That hits Marcus like a slap. His eyes go red. Ever since I came back to the Round family, the family has barely given him the time of day. Everything good in the house used to go to him first. Now he has to wait until after I pick what I want, then wait for Luna to take her share, before he gets whatever's left. When mom and dad bring things home, I'm always the first person they think of. If Marcus reaches for something, Margaret stops him and says it's meant for me. For years, he was the pampered favorite of the Round family. Now the tables have turned completely, and the resentment is eating him alive. I link my arm through Nina's and steer her toward the exit. Let's go. Marcus's expression goes dark. He cuts Lily a sharp glance and thinks to himself, why should he take a woman Eli threw away? At the car, I automatically reach for the back door. Am I your driver? Nina deadpans. I quietly shut the back door and open the passenger side instead. Inside, I'm terrified. This woman is so intimidating. Is my life actually at risk right now? Nina sees my face and shakes her head with a quiet laugh. With nerves like that, how will you manage? She adds, relax. I'm not interested in becoming a widow before we even sign the papers. I tilt my head at her, genuinely confused. What do you mean by that? Nina gives a small smile and says simply, 9 o'clock tomorrow, the marriage registry. Do I need to remind you one more time? I shake my head quickly. No, I've got it. Nina hands me her phone. I add my contact with an expression of exaggerated suffering. Meanwhile, Marcus has chased us outside, just in time to watch Nina's car pull away with me inside. Lily steps out a few seconds behind him, seizes furiously furious face and asks with concern, "Marcus, what's wrong?" Marcus looks bitter. "Lily, I need to get back home. What if Eli says something to Mom and Dad?" Lily wraps an arm around him, her voice tight. "Look, we were in the wrong this time. Eli being angry makes sense, but don't worry, I won't let him push you around." Marcus's eyes go even redder. "All we did was play a game. I seriously don't get what Eli's so worked up about." Inside, Marcus is quietly satisfied, but he keeps wearing that wounded expression. "You were his fiancée, but he's just some country boy who crawled out of the mountains. He was never good enough for you." Lily's eyes are full of disdain for me, as if marrying into her family was some kind of privilege I should have been grateful for. She pulls Marcus close and murmurs softly, "Don't worry, you're the one I want. Eli and I were just a business arrangement set up by our families." Marcus dips his head, a flash of satisfaction crossing his eyes. "Eli, oh Eli, what does it matter that you're the real heir of the Round family? Even Lily looks down on you." He sidles up to her. "Lily, don't talk about him like that. In reality, he's been trashing me to Lily every chance he gets. Anyway, forget him. Let me take you home before Eli finds another way to make things worse." Nina drives me back to the Round family mansion. Just as I'm about to get out, I suddenly dart forward like a bold little rabbit, plant a kiss on her cheek, and bolt. I'm already sprinting away, yelling back over my shoulder, "Nina, bye!" Nina watches my panicked getaway, raises a hand to touch her cheek, and lets out a quiet laugh. What a reckless little coward. She's just about to pull away when another car comes speeding toward the house and stops right at the gate. Lily and Marcus step out. Marcus's eyes light up the second he spots Nina, and he moves to approach her, but Nina is already gone, foot on the gas, leaving nothing but a pair of taillights fading into the distance. Marcus clenches his jaw, burning with resentment. He genuinely cannot figure out what he possibly lacks compared to Eli, that country boy from the mountains. Why can Eli get so close to Nina while he can't even get near her? Lily steps beside him and asks if she should go in with him. Marcus shakes his head. Not until he has Nina. He can't afford to let go of Lily as a backup. Back home, I'm chatting with Luna when a wave of pure hatred hits me from behind. Damn, Eli, why didn't something happen to him out there? All of this should have been mine. I turn around and meet Marcus's gaze, standing in the doorway, eyes full of venom. The moment he realizes I'm looking at him, he quickly drops his eyes. But it's too late. That look said everything. He wants me dead. "Back so soon? Worried I might tell Mom and Dad what you've been up to?" Luna and Margaret, who are about to greet Marcus, go pale and stare at me. Then they realize my lips never moved. Wait, was that Eli's thoughts they just heard? While the three of them are still confused, they hear something through my thoughts that no one is prepared for. They learn that Marcus has already tracked down his biological parents, and that in the not-so-distant future, he and Lily will scheme together to destroy the Round family. He will even arrange for someone to run Luna down with a car and frame it as a drunk driving accident. The thought of someone as kind as Luna being targeted like that sends a sharp pain through my chest. Luna's hands begin to tremble uncontrollably. She forces herself to stay calm. Margaret grips Victor's hand so hard he winces. Victor looks at his wife's face, tight with worry, and gently pats her hand. He tries to reassure her, reminding himself that none of it has happened yet. There is still time to change things. Meanwhile, Marcus has no idea what's unfolding around him. He's focused entirely on putting on a pitiful act, convinced these people will soften if he looks pathetic enough. He barely hits his knees with that wounded expression when I cut him off and say first, "Mom, Dad, I'm calling off the engagement." Victor freezes. He looks up, completely stunned. "What? Eli, haven't you always had feelings for Lily?" I steal a calm glance at Marcus. His expression freezes on his face. Then his whole body goes stiff, guilt written all over him, cold sweat creeping down his back. "Mom, Dad." My voice is flat, but the anger underneath it is impossible to hide. She kissed another man right in front of me and called it a game. She treated me like a complete fool. My voice cracks as I say it. Tears spill out before I can stop them. Mom and Dad are heartbroken, watching me. Margaret leans forward urgently. "Eli, what happened? Tell us everything." Marcus jumps in immediately. "That's not how it was. It's really not what you think." Marcus sees every face in the room turning on him with fury and panics, stumbling over his words. "We were just playing a game. It really wasn't intentional." But Victor has already heard enough from me. He has no interest in Marcus's explanation. He cuts straight to it. "So, you were the one kissing Lily, is that correct?" The disgust on every face in the room keeps growing. Marcus shakes his head frantically. He opens his mouth to keep defending himself, but my voice cuts through coldly. "Wasn't intentional?" I let out a short cold laugh and hold up my phone. "I happen to have security footage right here. You don't mind if I play it, do you?" "What footage? Don't you dare make things up." Marcus stares at me like he's seen a ghost, his face draining to chalk white. He turns to Victor with a tearful voice, begging him to believe it was just playing around. But Victor is done with him this time. He says flatly, "Don't look at me. If there's footage, put it on. Let's get everything out in the open today." I smile, slow and mocking, and cast the video to the TV. In an instant, the entire living room goes dead silent. In the footage, Marcus is the one making the move, eager and intense. The satisfaction in his eyes is almost jumping off the screen. He wraps himself around Lily, smiling softly right in front of me, and the two of them hold each other like no one else exists. Even worse, the footage also shows their friends talking down down to me, mocking me for being petty and telling me to grow up. Absolutely shameless. The moment the video ends, Victor raises his hand and slaps Marcus hard across the face. Marcus stumbles and drops to the floor, too stunned to make a sound. He covers his face and stares up at Victor in disbelief. You hit me, and you still have the nerve to call me dad? Victor's voice shakes with fury. He points at Marcus and lets it all out. Did you not know Lily was Eli's fiancée? You went after her right in front of him and humiliated him in front of everyone. What do you think that makes us look like? No, it wasn't like that. Marcus tries to explain, but the words won't come. Margaret tears into him without mercy. Aren't you disgusted with yourself? Can't find your own woman? You had to go after your brother's fiancée? I say nothing. I just watch. Then my phone buzzes with a new notification. I open it and find a new file from Nina. Another video. This one clearly shows Marcus bringing Lily to meet his biological family, along with photos of the two of them repeatedly going in and out of hotels together. Dad, Mom, Nina just sent me something. You should see this. I play it for them. Sure enough, the moment Marcus sees the undeniable proof on screen, his body jolts and every drop of color leaves his face. He can't say a single word. I add calmly, if you think any of this is fake, go ahead and have it verified. If I fabricated even 1 second of it, I'll get on my knees and apologize. That one line shuts down every last escape route he has. Victor's chest heaves with rage as he says, Marcus, since you've already found your biological family, you are no longer part of this family. When we first found our biological son, Victor never intended to cast Marcus aside. After all, they had raised him for 20 years, from the time he was 2 years old. But what has Marcus done? He deliberately went after his son's fiancée and went out of his way to humiliate his son in public. Please, don't do this. Don't push me out. The moment Marcus hears Victor say he's out, he completely falls apart. He knows the truth. His biological family has nothing compared to the Round family, and they are the kind of people who use everyone around them. If he goes back to them, he'll be nothing but a pawn, sacrificed for their gain. Victor's expression goes cold. His words are final. I am not your father. Get out. Take your clothes. Don't even think about touching anything else. Marcus's eyes fill with tears. Staring at these people cutting him off without a second thought, he breaks down. Through clenched teeth, his voice a mix of sobbing and rage, he chokes out, I am also a son you raised for over 20 years. How can you do this to me? Victor doesn't soften for even a moment. He lets out a cold laugh and hits back hard. Because you openly stole my biological son's fiancée. Because you spent every day scheming to make Eli's life harder. Isn't that enough? Victor continues. We never planned to push you out, but the evidence is right there. The video doesn't lie, and you have the nerve to ask why? At that, Marcus's face goes red with fury. He roars at them like a cornered animal. Another video! You've been planning to kick me out all along, and now you're making me out to be the villain. The meltdown only makes Victor more disgusted. He raises a hand and points straight at the door. Since you don't want to pack, fine. Get out right now. Stop wasting my sight. The color drains from Marcus's face instantly. He knows exactly what he stands to lose. The designer clothes, the shoes, the expensive watches he has collected while living here, all worth well over $100,000. He cannot bring himself to walk away empty-handed, so Marcus does a complete 180, dropping the fury and switching to helpless begging. Dad, you raised me for over 20 years. How could you really bring yourself to throw me away? Victor stares him down, body trembling with anger. If you actually remembered what I did for you, you wouldn't have kept going after Eli. You have shattered every expectation I had of you. The moment Victor finishes, I let out a short, sharp laugh. Marcus, and you still have the nerve to blame me? Think hard. What exactly did I take from you? I am the real biological son of this family. You are the one who took my life, parading my fiancé around to meet your own parents and friends, and you dare call yourself innocent? My words hit the room like a stone dropping into still water, sending waves of anger through everyone. Victor's brow furrows and his voice turns accusatory. Marcus, 3 years ago, you came representing your biological family to negotiate a deal with us. Had you already made contact with them by then? He pauses, his gaze darkening as more pieces fall into place. No. It had to be earlier than that. If you only found them 3 years ago, you wouldn't have done this much for them already. You must have been working with them long before that. The room goes ice cold. Victor lets out a short, bitter laugh, his voice dropping. We poured everything into raising you, and this is what we get. A snake who bites the hand that fed him. Marcus, you never stop surprising me. Marcus's knees buckle. He drops in front of Victor, clutching his pant leg, face streaked with tears. I know I was wrong. Please, just one more chance. But Victor doesn't flinch. He waves a hand and cuts him off. From this moment on, you are no longer my son. You will not take a single thing from this house. Victor's words leave no room for argument. Marcus is consumed by panic. Being thrown out of the Round family, he could almost live with that. But leaving with nothing? All those designer clothes, the luxury cars, the name brands, and returning to his biological family with empty hands? How could he accept that? His whole body shaking, he sobs. Please, just one more chance. But when he searches every face in the room and finds not a trace of pity or hesitation, a cold, bottomless despair crashes over him. Butler, please see the young master out. Victor's tone is absolute. The line has been drawn. Marcus is hauled to his feet. He snaps his head toward me, hatred burning in his eyes, cursing silently. Eli, this family will be mine again. Don't celebrate too soon. I just smile, calm and cool. Young master, you are no longer part of this family. Going forward, please stop using the Round name to prop yourself up. Marcus's scheme is called out in front of everyone. Humiliated and furious, he spits back. Who needs it anyway? Luna follows immediately, her voice sharp and cold. You better mean that. Marcus feels it like a punch to the chest. A wave of rage rushes through him. He glares at Luna, his stare dark enough to cut. Damn, Luna! I've made it so obvious and she still treats me like this. If she won't be my lapdog, then she can drop dead. His thoughts blast through my head and I go still. If I couldn't hear him, I never would have imagined the kind of filth he's been hiding toward his own sister. He actually expects her to obey his every move. I turn to look at Luna, my expression complicated. How am I supposed to tell her any of this? Luna notices my look and shifts uncomfortably. If you have something to say, just say it. Why are you staring at me like that? I clear my throat but can't find the words. I keep turning it over in my head. Marcus wants her as his lapdog. He has those disgusting thoughts about her. Does she even know? While I'm still processing all of it, Luna and Victor and Margaret suddenly go stiff. They stare at me, lost. Did they just hear that right? Marcus has those kinds of feelings for Luna? No, it is not simply a crush. What Marcus is thinking is something far darker. Luna's eyes ignite with fury. She is seething. Marcus forces down the anger rising in him and steps over to me, lowering his voice. Eli, from now on, if Marcus ever gives you trouble again, you tell me immediately. I look at her seriously and say with weight behind every word, Luna, you need to watch out for yourself too. The way Marcus looks at you doesn't sit right with me. I make sure she hears that clearly. Victor picks up right where I leave off, clearing his throat. Your brother is right. Someone like that needs to be watched carefully. And not just you. All of us need to stay on guard. After everything that has happened, Victor has finally seen Marcus for what he truly is. A person with no gratitude whatsoever. No matter how well the Round family treated him, the moment his desires go unmet, he turns on everyone without a second thought. Outside, Lily has been standing at the gate, watching Marcus stumble out looking completely broken. She rushes toward him. Marcus, what happened? Why are you crying like this? Marcus buries his face in her arms, sobbing in uneven bursts, refusing to say a word. Lily keeps pressing him. Marcus, tell me what happened. Stop crying and talk to me. Marcus barely manages to get it out between sobs. Lily, what did I even do wrong? They're throwing me out. That sets Lily off completely. Her expression darkens in an instant. She shoves Marcus aside and storms up to the door, pounding on it hard. Eli, get out here! Right at that moment, I hear her and catch a flicker of smug satisfaction from Marcus. This is exactly the kind of dirty work he likes to let Lily handle. I smile coldly, head into the kitchen, and fill a large basin with cold water. Time to give Lily a proper welcome. Luna and Victor see how calm I am, exchange a quiet cough, and follow me to the door. Lily is still hammering away when the door swings open. She opens her mouth to unleash, but before a single word comes out, I dump the entire basin of water straight over her head. Her carefully done-up look is gone in an instant. She's drenched from head to toe. Marcus, who was just standing there looking smug, watches this and his expression collapses. He shrieks, Eli, what are you doing? I don't even glance his way. Lily looked a little overheated, just helping her cool down and clear her head. That sends Lily into a full explosion. She raises her hand to strike me. Eli, you piece of trash, get on your knees and apologize right now. Meanwhile, Marcus looks even more excited than Lily does, like he's desperate to see that slap land on my face. Too bad for him. I catch Lily's hand mid-swing and slap her right back, hard. Her head rings. She just stands there for several seconds, staring at me like she's seen a ghost. What happened to him? Where is the man who used to orbit around her every single day? I shake out my hand, which stings a little, and say dryly, that face of yours is a lot thicker than I expected. Didn't even feel satisfying. Lily is shaking with rage, but then she spots Luna stepping out from inside with a few bodyguards behind her, moving slowly and calmly. Lily shuts up immediately. All she can do is seethe in silence. How dare Eli humiliate her in front of Marcus? Just wait until they're married, then she'll deal with him. I watch her with a cold smirk, still dreaming. I've never seen anyone with this little shame. Lily seems to miss the sarcasm entirely and has the audacity to say, Eli, I know you're just jealous over Marcus, but Marcus and I are just friends. Apologize now and we can let this whole thing go. I nearly gag. I have officially had enough. I kick her hard in the stomach. The force is nothing gentle. She doubles over, both arms clutching her middle, curling up like a cooked shrimp. How's that for an apology? I say coldly. Her face goes bright red, finger jabbing at me, voice rising to a shriek. Eli, you dare hit me. If you don't get on your knees today, you will never marry me. I roll my eyes, half furious, half laughing at the absurdity. Please, stop performing for an audience. Maybe have a drink, eat some peanuts. Maybe that'll knock some sense into you. That brain of yours is beyond saving. The moment those words leave my mouth, both Lily and Marcus look like they've been slapped. Marcus especially, staring at me with pure disbelief. What has gotten into Eli? He used to be such a lovesick puppy, but today something is completely off. He's still wondering what could have happened to me, completely unaware that I can hear every thought in his head. Lily still refuses to give up and keeps performing. Eli, apologize now and I'll let it all go. I let out a cold laugh and don't hold back. You get out. There is nothing left to say here. I turn to Marcus, my voice flat but edged with contempt. I've already called off my engagement to Lily. Happy now? No more sneaking around. You can walk around with Lily and meet your biological family in broad daylight. But remember this, from now on, you are not part of this family. Stop using the Round name to make yourself look important. Marcus panics the second he hears it. He spins toward Victor and Margaret with red-rimmed eyes, voice cracking. Are you really just going to abandon me? Victor's face is stone cold. His voice is colder still. Don't call us mom and dad. We are not worthy of being the parents of someone like you. Lily, standing to the side, hears this and immediately steps forward, positioning herself in front of Marcus. Ma'am, Even if Marcus isn't your biological son, you raised him with your own hands. How can you be so heartless? Luna gives her a look dripping with disdain and laughs coldly. Since you know we raised him, do you also know how he treated my brother? He went after his fiancée. He trashed my brother's name in public. Is that how an older brother is supposed to act? Lily scrambles to cover for him. That was my fault. I'm the one who pulled him into the game. Marcus had nothing to do with it. Luna lets out a sharp laugh. If it was your fault, then why are you still going after my brother? And since when is the Round family's business any of yours? That shuts Lily up completely. She just stands there, frozen. Marcus, pale as paper, frantically grabs Lily by the arm. Lily, let's go. Don't make this worse. As he pulls her away, his thoughts are dripping with venom. Round family, just you wait. One day, even if you get on your knees and beg me, I will not forgive any of you. I watch them go, with a faint smile that doesn't quite reach my eyes. He actually thinks he's that important, and he expects us to beg him. Lily tries to get in one last threat as she leaves. Eli, you will regret this. I raise the basin still in my hand and shoot her a look sharp enough to cut. She glances down at her drenched, humiliating state, then back at the basin in my hand, and decides not to say another word. Marcus drags her away, and they disappear. The moment they're gone, I start to stress. One question keeps spinning in my head. How do I tell Mom and Dad I'm going to the marriage registry tomorrow morning? Before I can even figure out where to start, Victor, Margaret, and Luna are all staring at me at once, like they can already sense something big is coming. The weight of their stares makes my scalp prickle. I swallow and ask carefully, Dad, Mom, why are you all looking at me like that? Luna grits her teeth and asks bluntly, are you hiding something from us? I'm about to shake my head, but then I think, this has to come out sooner or later. I might as well just go for it. Let's go inside and talk. Luna lets out a short huff and turns back toward the house. Mom and Dad exchange a glance and quietly follow behind me. The whole family heads inside in silence. The moment everyone sits down, I jump in immediately, my voice barely above a whisper. Mom, can I ask you something? If I switched to a different wife, would you be okay with that? The second those words are out, Margaret's eyes lock onto me like two laser beams. If looks could burn, there'd be a hole right through me. The energy coming off her says she's about 2 seconds away from storming out to settle something. Who is it? Nina Frost. The air goes completely still. Luna and Victor look just as shocked, staring at me like I've lost my mind. Who did you just say? Their faces say they think I'm dreaming. I push through it. Nina Frost, the one who runs the Frost family. Luna reaches out and actually presses a hand to my forehead. Have you been drinking? I swat her hand away and give her a look. She's usually sharp. How is she this slow right now? I am completely sober. She's coming to pick me up tomorrow morning at 9. The three of them are wearing identical expressions of complete disbelief. Their faces a tangle of emotions that words can't quite capture, like I just walked in from another planet. I start to explain, but Margaret gets there first. Eli, tell me everything. What exactly happened? Her voice stays gentle, but she puts out an arm to hold back Luna and Victor, who are clearly ready to jump in. She is the calm one right now. I scratch my nose and start fumbling through the story. So, we were playing a game. I lost, and I kinda kissed her. Twice. I pause. I grit my teeth and keep going. Then I decided to break off the engagement with Lily, right? And Lily had the nerve to say, if I broke up with her, who would ever want to marry me? So I just casually asked Nina, and she said yes. My voice gets quieter and quieter. I sneak a look at their faces. The reactions are even bigger than I expected. It's like watching a magic show. Mom, Dad, you're not going to have a problem with me marrying someone that powerful, are you? I try to sound casual, but inside I'm a mess. They've been quiet for so long. What if they're actually angry? Mom sits with it for a long moment, then suddenly gets up and walks quickly upstairs. My stomach drops. A cold feeling settles over me. I mutter quietly, she's not actually mad, is she? Dad presses his lips together slightly, just starting to speak, when Mom is already coming back down. Something is in her hand. Her expression is secretive and knowing. I look closely, and what she's holding is the family registry book. She walks up to me and presses it into my hands, giving them a gentle pat. Then she says with meaning behind every word, Eli, a woman like Nina Frost, if you can bring her home as your wife, that is a massive win. Mom is behind you 100%. I freeze. My brain stops working completely. What is happening right now? I turn stiffly toward Dad, eyes screaming for backup. Help me out here. But Dad just shrugs, helpless and smiling. Son, honestly, I'm not really ready for you to get married this soon, but if your partner is Nina Frost, then Dad is completely on board. After you sign the papers tomorrow, ask her when she's free to come over for dinner. I am completely out of options. I sit there gripping the registry book, and it feels like it's burning right through my hands. Then Mom adds one more thing. You really should thank Marcus. If he hadn't taken Lily, you'd never have had this chance. Mom, please, I would rather not thank him for that. I roll my eyes and laugh despite myself, but honestly thinking it through. If I actually manage to register with Nina tomorrow, Marcus is going to completely lose it. After all, Nina is the one he has always wanted. She is the woman he has dreamed of marrying. Luna, who was not exactly thrilled about me registering with Nina, hears the bit about thanking Marcus and turns to me with a straight face. Little brother, after thinking it over, I actually think you and Nina make a pretty good pair. Don't be late tomorrow, and dress sharp. I laugh awkwardly, give a half-hearted response, and head back to my room, locking the door behind me. The moment I sit down on the edge of the bed, thoughts start flooding in. Marcus has a way of drawing people in that shouldn't be underestimated. Even though Lily is with him now, who knows how many other women will throw themselves at him. I need to think carefully about how to pull his entire network out from under him. Meanwhile, Nina has arrived back at Villa 1. The moment she walks in, she finds a few of her closest friends already in the living room. She tosses her jacket onto the sofa and sinks sinks into it. What are you all doing here? One of them can't hold back her curiosity. We heard you're going to register with that guy tomorrow. Do you actually like him? Nina leans back lazily and answers without any rush. I wouldn't call it liking him, but I don't dislike him either. He's interesting, different from other people. Her friends exchange looks. After a moment, someone finally speaks. Fair enough, but what about the Frost family side? Weren't they pushing you toward an arranged marriage? You just went ahead and decided on your own. They're not going to be happy about that. Nina smiles lightly, her tone breezy. It's my registry book. Why should I care what they think? Not long after, her friends trickle out one by one, leaving Nina alone. She settles into the soft cushions of the sofa and turns the evening over in her mind. The things I said keep surfacing in her thoughts. Without meaning to, she dips her head slightly, and the corners of her mouth lift on their own. The smile won't stay hidden. That impulsive little guy is genuinely entertaining. And maybe, just maybe, there really could be a pair of adorable babies someday. The moment that thought crosses her mind, she catches herself. She shakes her head, quietly baffled at where her own mind just went. She picks up her jacket and heads upstairs for a shower. Afterward, Nina steps out of the bathroom wrapped in a towel. She drifts over to the floor-to-ceiling window and gazes quietly at the view outside. In the reflection of the glass, the faintest curve appears at the corner of her lips. Back in her room, she sits on the edge of the bed, picks up her tablet, handles some work, and settles in for the night. The next morning at 7, Mom's voice pulls me out of sleep. I drag myself up in a haze, take a shower, and spend a good while studying myself in the mirror. Pretty satisfied with the look, I check the time and realize it's already past 8. I grab my bag, shove the registry book inside, and rush downstairs. The moment I reach the bottom, I find Nina already in the living room, deep in conversation with Dad. I tilt my head as I come down the stairs, eyes fixed on her. How did she get here so early? Nina hears me coming and looks up. She stares at me for a long moment without saying anything. I start to feel uncomfortable. Is something wrong with how I look? Why does she keep staring? I roll my eyes and glare back at her. Nina just finds it funny. She stands up and walks over to me, giving my suit a thorough once-over. Kiddo, I have zero interest in responding. I press my lips together and mutter, I'm 23. I am not a kiddo. That word nearly makes me lose it. I'm almost ready to do something about it, but before I can, Dad calls from behind me, laughing. Eli, stop it. Come eat. Nina has been waiting for a while. Fine. Lucky for her, I sneak a glare at Nina and pull an exaggerated, fierce face, trying to intimidate her. She looks back at me exactly the way someone looks at a pet doing something ridiculous, amusement barely contained. At the table, I ask casually, have you eaten? I have. Take your time. Since she says that, I don't hold back. I sit down and focus on the millet porridge and steamed dumplings in front of me. Nina watches me quietly, perfectly calm. Every now and then I can feel her gaze sweep across my cheek. When my cheeks puff out full of dumpling and sit right in her line of sight, I could swear her fingers twitch ever so slightly. Is she bothered somehow? When I'm full, I set down my chopsticks and look up. Ready? She nods, stands, and turns to say goodbye to Dad. We're heading out. In the car, I look over at her, full of curiosity. Why didn't you let me know you were coming? She shrugs. I texted you. You just didn't reply. I pull up my phone and check, and sure enough, her message is sitting right there. I scratch my head and try to remember, then it hits me. I was in the shower, so naturally I flash her my most innocent smile. But the next second, she says casually, what a dummy. With a mouth like that, be careful nobody marries you. She turns her head and looks at me. Then she smiles, reaches over, pulls my seatbelt across, and buckles it for me carefully. In that same lazy but completely serious tone, she says, one husband is plenty. More than one would just be a headache. That leaves me speechless. I don't know how to respond to that. The irritation rises in me and then just stops. I press my lips together and roll my eyes at myself. The whole ride, I chatter nonstop, jumping from one topic to the next. Nina doesn't say much, but every time I toss something out, she comes back with exactly the right response. Precise. Effortless. Never too much, never too little. She carries herself differently. Compared to someone like Lily who has to make everything a performance, Nina is on a completely different level. She tilts her head and glances at me. Her expression is as still and deep as a lake you can't quite see the bottom of. As we get close to the marriage registry, I'm in a pretty good mood, until we walk in and I spot Marcus standing there. My mood drops instantly. Can't shake this guy. I frown and shoot him a hard stare. Nina follows my gaze and finds Marcus standing there looking pitiful, putting on his most delicate wounded act. It's embarrassing to look at. As she parks, Nina says simply, let's go. Once she's parked, she extends her hand naturally, takes mine without hesitation, and leads me toward the entrance. In that moment, something warm rises quietly in my chest. I drop my head and try to hide the smile that sneaks onto my face. We've barely stepped inside when Marcus calls out to us. I cannot help but roll my eyes again. This guy really knows how to pick his moments. He positions himself in front of us wearing that same pathetic look. Nina, I need to talk to you. Nina slides both hands into her pockets and sweeps him with one cold look. The message in her eyes is clear. Get out of the way. Then, in a low, flat voice, she says, move. That gets a real laugh out of me. I link my arm through hers and lean into her on purpose, teasing as I go. Marcus, don't tell me you came here to register with Lily. Where is she? Why isn't she with you? Marcus's face goes dark, jealousy blazing in his eyes, lips pressed into a hard line. That hateful stare lands right on me. Every bit of the fury and resentment inside him is completely visible to me. What right does Eli have to be with Nina? She belongs with me. His eyes scream it without a single word. But to me, his schemes and delusions are almost funny. I hold Nina's arm tighter and put on a soft, whiny voice. I'm so tired. Please don't make me wake up this early again. Nina looks down at me, laughing softly as she ruffles my hair. After we're done, you can go home and sleep as long as you want. Hey, stop, you're ruining my hair. I spent so long on this. She looks at me all ruffled and can't hold back a laugh. You look like a little cat that just got startled. She reaches up and smooths my hair back gently. Her voice stays easy and calm. All right, stop fussing. Let's go in. It's going to get crowded soon. Through all of it, she never once looked Marcus's way. Not even once. I turn around, eyes bright with satisfaction, and give Marcus a little wave, just to twist the knife. You just wait for Lily out here. Nina and I are heading in. That does it. Marcus goes pale, then red, then pale again. He's so furious he can't even speak. He looks like he wants to say something, mouth opening slightly, but Nina is already pulling me through a different entrance without a second's hesitation. The whole time, Nina doesn't even glance at Marcus. Not once. When we walk out of the hall holding our brand new marriage certificate, Marcus's face is so dark it could storm. For a second, I actually worry he might lunge forward and snatch it right out of my hands and tear it to pieces. Is there anything you need to go back and pack? Nina's voice cuts through my thoughts. I stare at her, disbelieving. Seriously? We're about to move in together and you won't even buy me clothes? You're sending me back to get my own stuff? I never pegged you for a cheapskate, but there goes that powerful boss image of yours. She blinks, caught off guard. Then her brow furrows slightly and she reaches up to lightly pinch my cheek. I meant things like your laptop, she says, exasperated. Do you need to go back for that? Oh, I realize I've completely misunderstood her, but then I spot Marcus still lurking nearby, so I say loudly, forget it, just buy me new ones. Nina sees right through my little scheme. She answers calmly, then we go to the mall. Whatever you want, it's yours. My eyes light up instantly. I grab Nina's hand and we stride away, not sparing Marcus even a shred of dignity. Eli, you little snake. I won't let this go. His voice comes from behind us, sharp with fury. I glance back, unbothered. A smirk pulls at my lips. Won't let it go? Fine by me. Nina catches the hatred burning in Marcus's stare. She glances down at me, a faint smile playing at the corner of her mouth. He's just a clown. Why do you keep looking at him? I pause, then silently marvel. This is exactly the kind of energy a villain boss has. She nails it every time. Honestly, looking at this whole situation, you have to respect how cool and decisive she is. Looks like even main character energy is useless against a villain like her. Nina glances down, then, completely unfazed, gently takes my hand and walks out of the marriage registry with long, steady strides, leaving Marcus standing there, shaking with rage, far behind us. On the way, I casually ask, want to come to my place for dinner? Nina doesn't even look up. She just answers, easy as breathing. Sure, I'll let your parents know while we're there that you're moving in with me. I nearly choke. She just decided that? This woman moves fast. We just got our certificate today and she's already acting like we've been married for years. Still, thinking about it, I feel a little flutter of excitement. Living with Nina does sound kind of fun, and when Marcus finds out he's going to absolutely lose it, he'll probably have someone tailing me again. Just imagining it makes me smile. We reach the mall. I pick out a pile of skincare and everyday clothes, and just as I'm about to pay, Nina calmly pulls out a card and holds it out to me. 2 words, completely casual. Use this. I look at it, look again, then take it. I raise an eyebrow and tease her. Don't say I didn't warn you. I'm not holding back. She laughs softly and actually nods. Good. Ambition suits you. The way she says it, it genuinely sounds like a compliment. That's the kind of person she is. We hit a few furniture stores next, picking up the small things. Toothbrushes, slippers, all of it. Then we head to a clothing store. Watching the total climb on the receipt, I start to feel a little guilty, so I pick out a few casual outfits in her style to give her as a gift. By the end of the day, we're surrounded by bags. What amazes me is that Nina stays with me the entire time. Not one complaint. Her patience is honestly beyond anything I expected. Out of gratitude, I pick out a few more loungewear sets for her, just a small way of saying thank you. When we get back, Mom has already laid out a full dinner spread. During the meal, Nina is completely at ease. She looks at my parents and says it straight. Dad, Mom, I'd like Eli to move in with me tonight. Mom already had a feeling this was coming, but hearing it out loud still catches her off guard. A flicker of sadness crosses her face. I jump in quickly. Mom, we can come back whenever. We'll come for dinner, stay a few days, no problem. I sneak a glance at Nina hoping she'll back me up. And she does. She nods right away. Mom softens a little and just tells us to visit often. That evening, I pack a few changes of clothes, and we leave together. Her car pulls into Villa 1. The mansion comes into view, grand and imposing, but with a coldness underneath. I follow her inside, up to her bedroom. I look around and can't help myself. This place looks exactly like a model home. There's zero warmth in here. Especially that balcony, completely bare. What a waste. Nina crosses her arms, leaning against the doorframe, watching me inspect every corner in silence. Finally, she gives a small shake of her head. When I step closer, she reaches out and pulls me to her. She raises an eyebrow. You really hate it that much? I nod firmly. Yes, absolutely. Nina pulls out a card and presses it into my hand. Then do whatever you want with it. Wait, really? I can do anything I want? My eyes go wide. I look at her, practically glowing. Just don't make it all pink and I have no objections. The second she says that, I burst out laughing. Pink? Me? Even imagining it makes me cringe. Nina stands a few feet away, hands in her pockets, mouth curving just slightly upward, watching me with that teasing glint in her eyes. My stomach drops. Something feels off. I start inching toward the door, but I barely take 2 steps when a strong grip locks around my waist and yanks me back. "What are you doing?" I stammer, a little panicked, the words barely coming out right. I look up and meet those deep, mischievous eyes of hers. She leans down, voice low and unhurried. "I hear you've got a stubborn mouth." There's a tease threaded through every word. I shake my head fast. No, who told you that?" Before I can even process what's happening, she shoves me onto the bed, so fast I don't even see it coming. What is happening? I'm face down, mind completely blank. I try to push myself up, but she slowly lowers herself over me, pinning me completely. My face goes scarlet. I stare up at her, way too close, and manage to stutter out, "Don't try anything." She laughs softly, voice low, dripping with the satisfaction of someone who's already won. "What's wrong, scared?" That laugh, paired with her getting closer, sends a chill straight down my spine. I try to shove her away, but she just holds me tighter. I can't break free. Something snaps in my head, and I have no idea where the courage comes from, but I suddenly throw my arms around her neck and lean up to kiss her. That completely unexpected move stuns her into stillness. And honestly, it stuns me too. Who would have thought that being teased would lead to a move this bold? But that brave little kiss lasts less than 2 seconds before I lose my nerve. The moment I start to pull back, she snaps out of it. One hand cups the back of my head, firm and deliberate, commanding, unapologetic. The kiss is so deep I can barely breathe. When she finally lets me go, I'm completely breathless, mind wiped clean. Like an idiot, I reach up and touch her face and murmur without thinking, "What happened to being gay?" The words are barely out before I snap back to reality. My brain kicks back in. "Oh no," I wave my hands frantically. "I didn't say that. I didn't say anything." Nina just laughs, quiet and low. It's the kind of smile that makes your skin crawl. Then she calmly straightens her slightly rumpled sleeve, drops one line, "I'll deal with you later," and walks out, leaving me sprawled on the bed, completely dazed, gasping for air. I reach up without thinking and touch my lips. My mind spirals. The corner of my mouth lifts on its own. If Marcus ever finds out about this, he'd probably lose sleep for days. The thought makes me flip over with a grin, pick up my phone and scroll idly. Marcus is still in my contacts. A little idea sparks. I toss the phone aside and get up to sort through the day's haul. Midway through, Nina walks in carrying a glass of milk. She sets it down without a word. I don't even look up, just a casual, "Thanks." When I finish sorting everything, I finally notice the milk. I pick it up and drink it down in one go. The moment I finish the last sip, the bathroom door creaks open slowly. Nina steps out wrapped in nothing but a towel. Water droplets cling to her hair, trailing slowly down her skin. The sight short-circuits my brain entirely. I stand there frozen for a long moment. When she notices me staring, a sly smile pulls at her mouth. She walks over on purpose, leans down, that look on her face somewhere between a smirk and a smile. "Like what you see?" My brain hasn't caught up yet. I nod without thinking. "Yeah." My obedient little answer makes her laugh out loud. She lightly taps my head. I rub the spot and mutter under my breath, "You're my wife now. What's wrong with me looking?" Like it's some kind of crime. "Don't be so stingy about it." Nina's eyes narrow. She catches something in my tone. She takes one step closer, eyebrow lifting slightly, voice full of meaning. "If you get to look, shouldn't I get a turn?" She advances, one slow step at a time. Pure instinct kicks in. I push her back and blurt out, "I'm going to shower." I scramble into the bathroom like a startled cat. The door clicks shut, and I finally let myself breathe. Then I realize I forgot to bring pajamas. The small towel in here barely covers anything. This is a disaster. With no other choice, I wrap myself in it and walk out, bracing myself. The moment I step out, I feel Nina's gaze land on me. There's a heat in her eyes I can't quite name. I open my mouth to explain, but she doesn't give me the chance. She says it low and clear. "Eli, I don't do marriages of convenience." Just like that, everything is out in the open. What follows leaves me with absolutely no room to argue. At this point, there's only one thought left in my head. If anyone ever calls my wife gay again, I will personally slap them 800 times. Nina seems to hear exactly what I'm thinking. She lets out a low laugh, rich and magnetic, with something unreadable underneath. I mutter under my breath, so loud. Then I roll over and drop straight to sleep, not giving her another second to speak. She looks at me, already lightly snoring, and shakes her head. She leans down and presses a gentle kiss to my cheek. Then, moving carefully so as not to wake me, she slides closer. She settles into my arms. Breathing in the scent of the same body wash, she slowly drifts off to sleep. The next morning, Nina comes downstairs to find the butler already waiting quietly at the side of the room. Her expression is calm. She gives her instructions in an even tone. "Sir is still resting. Do not disturb him until he's up. Also, tell the kitchen to prepare a Chinese breakfast." The butler nods immediately and answers with a respectful bow. "Of course, ma'am." Nina walks out of the villa, gets into the car, and sends me a quick message. When she arrives at the office, Nina transforms instantly. Face composed and unreadable, not even a hint of warmth, radiating the kind of authority that makes people stand up straighter. The word intimidating might as well be stamped on her. The staff expect today to be just like any other day, but then something catches their eye. Their boss is sporting some very unusual marks. After she passes, employees start whispering, "Did you see that? On her neck. Oh my god, are those hickeys? Our boss actually..." Nina walks into her office and listens to her assistant run through the schedule as usual. But the assistant is clearly off. Barely halfway through the report, her eyes keep drifting to Nina's neck. And not just once. The assistant keeps talking while sneaking glances, over and over, at least a dozen times, studying Nina like she's some kind of rare artifact. Nina finally runs out of patience. She looks up and fixes the assistant with a flat, withering stare. Seen enough? If you have something to say it. The assistant flinches, snaps her head down, and scrambles to get back on track. Not one more look after that. When the meeting finally starts, the senior staff can't help stealing glances either. Nina has had enough. She reaches over and wraps the table. I brought you here to work, she says, voice ice cold. Not to stare at me. Dead silence. You could hear a pin drop. She sweeps her gaze across the room, calm and unhurried. The acquisition plan needs to move faster. Budgets must be exact. No project falls behind schedule. She stands, picks up her phone, and moves straight on to the next matter. After the meeting, her phone rings. It's me. The second she picks up, I come in hot. Nina, you went too far. She sounds completely unbothered. You were the one who started it. I'm so frustrated I want to throw my phone across the room. Look at the state of me. I can't go out like this. She laughs lightly. Did you lose any skin? Nina, I am your... I start loudly. She cuts in, voice full of amusement, completely composed. Why don't you take a look at my results today? She sends me a photo, a close-up of her neck. I open it and nearly drop my phone. The bruising is impossible to miss. Once I calm down slightly, I can't resist teasing her. So your plan is to make sure I can't show my face all day? She doesn't even blink. You'll only see the butler today anyway. It's not like you have a full social calendar. Hearing that, the frustration drains out of me surprisingly fast. I settle down. I sit on the bed, find a good angle, snap a photo, and post it, set to visible only to Marcus. Meanwhile, Marcus is already up, dark circles heavy under his eyes after a sleepless night, scrolling through his phone. Then my post appears. He taps it. The moment the photo loads, the rage hits so hard he slams his phone onto the floor. Eli, he snarls through gritted teeth. Don't think you can keep winning like this. He can't let this go. He refuses to just sit there and take it. He has to expose me to Nina. Show her who I really am. With that thought locked in, Marcus grabs his things and rushes straight to Frost Group. On the way, he stops to buy a new phone, carefully saves the photo, terrified of losing his precious evidence. He strides up to the Frost Group reception desk, staring down the receptionist like she should already know who he is. I'm here to see Nina Frost. Do you have an appointment? The receptionist asks politely. Marcus's brow pinches. No. I'm sorry, without an appointment we can't let you through. The receptionist keeps her smile perfectly in place. Marcus is about to push back when Nina walks out of the elevator with a group of people. Marcus's eyes light up instantly, like he's just spotted a lifeline. He rushes toward her and plants himself right in her path. Nina, hi. I'm Eli's older brother. Marcus says it fast, urgent. Nina gives him one cold, flat look. Her voice carries nothing but distance. My husband has a sister, no brother. Nina knows exactly who this is. He's the one I've told her about. The so-called hero who treats her like the one he could never have and fantasizes endlessly. Disgusting. Off guard, but he forces himself forward. He pulls out the saved photo and holds it up. Nina, look at this. Eli is spreading lies about you. Nina glances at the photo on his phone. Her brow furrows slightly. Marcus nearly smiles. He tells himself she's too sharp to be fooled. She'll see through Eli. What he doesn't know is Nina never saw the post I made. She just finds the whole thing amusing. And honestly, wanting more once you've had a taste. Marcus is waiting for an explosion of fury, a storm of outrage. Reality has other plans. Just then, the assistant gives a quiet cough. Boss, we'll be late. Let's go. Nina turns and heads for the exit. Near the door, she pauses like something just occurred to her. She glances at the receptionist. If he shows up again, turn him away at the door. Yes, ma'am. The two receptionists exchange a look and nod quickly. Marcus tries to say something else, but the assistant steps in front of him without hesitation, eyes sharp with warning, locked onto Marcus. Sir, do not come back here and bother our boss. Marcus has no move left. He can only watch Nina walk away. Behind him, the two receptionists start whispering. I thought he actually knew her. She didn't even acknowledge him. And our boss has a husband. Why would she have anything to do with someone like that? What are you two talking about? Marcus snaps. In his mind, someone like Nina would never openly mention having a husband at work. Who's making things up? Everyone here knows. Our boss walked in today with hickeys and bite marks. Those two are very much in love, so don't even think about trying to come between them. The receptionist doesn't flinch. She stares Marcus down without blinking. Marcus hears it and goes still. He must have misheard. His face goes blank with disbelief. He asks urgently, what did you just say? Someone like Nina Frost showing up to work with hickeys and bite marks? No way. The receptionist can't be bothered arguing. She pulls up a photo someone secretly snapped from upstairs and shoves the screen in his face. See for yourself. Marcus stares at the marks on Nina's neck in the photo. It's unbearable to look at. He walks out of Frost Group in a daze, barely aware of how he even got to the door. When he first saw my post, he was convinced I had made the whole thing up just to mess with him. He never expected to come here and find out he's the clown in this story. The two receptionists watch him shuffle out, then message Nina's assistant and lay out every detail of what just happened. The assistant is about to bring it up when Nina is already on the phone. Eli, a photo like that. Shouldn't your wife be the first to see it? Bad enough you showed it to a stranger but using me as your shield? That's a bit much, don't you think? I'm sitting there eating breakfast and this instantly perks me up. So Marcus actually showed up at your office. That's how you found out. I burst out laughing. You're my wife. Using you a little is perfectly fine. Nina goes quiet for a moment. Then she asks, almost thoughtfully, no regrets? Why would I have regrets? The question genuinely puzzles me. It's already done. What good would regret do? Marcus must be fuming right now. Remember what you said. I have a deal to close. I'll talk to you later. I don't think much of it. I hang up and open my contacts. Sure enough, Marcus has sent a flood of messages. All ugly. The one that keeps showing up is, Have you no shame? I let a slow smile spread across my face and send back a voice message. You ran all the way to my wife's office. What were you hoping to see? Just how happy we are together? I keep my voice easy and unhurried. It drives Marcus to the edge. His eyes go red. Eli, what exactly are you so smug about? She'll throw you away eventually. Sorry to disappoint you, but Nina and I are legally married. And even if she did leave me someday, I'd walk away with a very generous settlement. I know exactly where to hit Marcus. Every word lands like a blade. He calls me on the spot. The second I pick up, he comes at me swinging. Eli, how can you be so shameless? She doesn't even like you. I listen to him spiral completely out of control, smiling the whole time. And yet she's my wife. Eli, don't kid yourself. You really think Nina actually cares about you? She's just passing the time. Let me tell you something. We share a bed every night. I fall asleep in her arms. I deliver it slowly, deliberately. The moment it's out, Marcus explodes. Every ugly word he knows comes pouring out. I set the phone down on the bed, let him rage into the air, and wait for him to burn himself out. When it finally goes quiet, I pick the phone back up. Marcus, anyone can see how you feel about my wife. Such a shame because she doesn't feel a thing for you, and now she's officially married to me. What do you think Lily would say if she knew you've been obsessing over someone else this whole time? While I twist the knife into Marcus, I make sure to plant one between him and Lily too. Eli, why do you have to take everything from me? Why didn't you just marry someone else? Pure hatred. I don't hold back. Why would I marry anyone when a fraud like you stealing what was never yours couldn't even manage it? I hang up, then block him. When Marcus tries to call back, nothing goes through. He knows exactly what that means. He's been blocked. He raises his hand ready to smash the phone, but right before he lets go, he remembers he just bought it today. With no good options, he swallows his rage and makes another call. Look into Eli for me. Find out who he's been meeting with and when he and Nina first cross paths. Once he gets confirmation, Marcus hangs up, satisfied. Before he can even catch his breath, his phone rings again. He sees the name and deflates. Why isn't it Nina? He can't help but think, what if he had been the one to marry her? But no matter how much his mind lingers on Nina, Marcus can't afford to neglect Lily. With the MU family situation, he needs Lily's backing to hold his position. Until he finds a way to get Nina, he can't afford to lose Lily. At least not yet. He picks up, keeping his voice as warm as he can manage. Marcus, where are you? I'm coming to pick you up. I want you to meet someone. Lily's voice is bright and eager on the other end. Marcus feels a flicker of distaste, but gives her an address anyway. About half an hour later, Lily arrives. Marcus, you've always wanted to act, right? I reached out to a director. He has a project in the works, and there's a role that could work for you. Marcus lights up the moment he hears it. He links his arm through hers, eyes wide. Lily, really? But once the excitement settles, he hesitates. Lily, are you sure it's okay to be pulling favors like this? And the Mew family just came to call off the engagement today. Are you sure you don't need to go home? Lily lets out a cold laugh. I've been waiting for that engagement to end. Someone like Eli, so sheltered and small-minded, who would actually want that? Marcus feels a quiet satisfaction bloom inside him, but arranges his face into something apologetic. Lily, I'm so sorry. If it weren't for me, you wouldn't have had to break off the engagement, and you wouldn't have taken all that criticism. It doesn't matter. Now that it's over, we can be together. Lily wraps her arms around him with a look of total devotion. Marcus feels slightly sick, but performs gratitude anyway. Lily, you're really too good to me. Marcus goes with Lily to meet the director. His looks are hard to ignore, and his performance is decent enough that the director gives a measured nod. Mr. Round, the third lead is yours. Third lead. Marcus isn't thrilled, but thanks the director with a smile. The director smiles back, and says nothing more. Without Lily's name behind him, this role would never have been his. Marcus gets the script and throws himself into it immediately. He makes himself a silent promise. This show is going to make him famous. And once he is, no matter what connections I have behind me, taking me down will be that much easier. When I hear Marcus is joining a production, I'm genuinely surprised. I didn't expect Lily to go that far for him. Nina comes home to find me hunched over my laptop. She comes over and sits beside me, eyes dropping to the screen. What are you working on? A script. I've always been into this kind of thing. I scoot close and hold it up like I'm presenting something impressive. Well, what do you think? Nina reads a section. There's something there. She can tell. So will you invest? I tilt my head and look at her with the most pitiful eyes I can manage. Then I lean in and press a quick kiss to her cheek, grinning. Is that enough to convince you? Nina turns her head and looks at me, quietly thinking, am I really this easy? No. A kiss on the cheek is not how you get an investment out of her. If I want a yes, I'd better bring something more convincing. Maybe something a little more real. Nina hears every word of that inner monologue. She keeps her face perfectly still and watches me, quietly curious about what I'm going to try next. My eyes dart around as the plan forms. I push the laptop aside, throw my arms around her neck, look straight into her eyes, and give my arms a little sway. I pour on every ounce of sweetness I have. Please, honey, I'm begging you. I look absolutely pitiful. Even Nina, stone-faced as she is, feels something soften, but then she shifts. I think there's still a score we haven't settled. That lands immediately. Everything I pulled on her before flashes through my mind. She tilts her head up, presses a soft kiss to my cheek, and murmurs, say it again. I stare at Nina, completely thrown. This woman runs a company with ice in her veins. She is not the type to fish for pet names. I change the subject fast. I'm hungry. No way am I poking that bear today. Me too, Nina says with a laugh, and takes my hand toward the bedroom. She sees nothing has changed and frowns. Weren't you going to redecorate? I shoot her a look. With these marks on my neck, how am I supposed to go anywhere? If someone sees this, I'll never hear the end of it. Nina's gaze drops to my neck, and she immediately bursts out laughing. Then she leans in and bites hits me again, right there. My eyes go wide. I stare at her, speechless. She asks, voice soft, using me to get under that disgusting man's skin. How do you plan to settle that? It's not my fault he's obsessed with you. If not you, who else was I supposed to use? I say it like it's the most obvious thing in the world. Nina gives a small nod. She doesn't argue. Instead, she continues, then it's only fair I get something out of it. I open my mouth to push back, but she doesn't give me the chance. I reach over and pinch her lightly, putting on my most wounded expression. You're so unfair. Doing something for your own husband and you still want payment? What kind of CEO operates like that? Nina wraps her hand around mine, brings it to her lips, and says slowly, your wife is a businesswoman. I deal in real returns, not sentiment. I'm leaving for overseas the day after tomorrow. Come with me? She wants me close. I'm not going. Something pops into my head and I blurt it out. You still haven't told me whether you'll invest in my script. You're my husband. Whatever I have is yours to use. After dinner, Nina takes me out to the garden. We settle into the pavilion, and I go back to working on the script while Nina sits beside me, reading along. The story is based on someone I know, a friend. He was bullied badly in middle school. It wore him down until he couldn't take it anymore. He developed depression and he jumped from a building. The ones responsible were minors at the time, so they faced almost nothing. Isn't that absurd? Thinking about him, that boy who used to smile so brightly, fills me with a hollow ache. He just stepped off that ledge without looking back, and the ones who drove him there just stood and watched. Nina puts a hand on me, voice gentle. The law keeps moving forward. They'll face what they deserve sooner or later. The next morning, Nina heads out with her assistant for the business trip. I watch them getting smaller in the distance, and I can barely contain myself. Finally, I have the whole place to myself, but Nina is still close enough to hear every word. Without a word, she hands her luggage to the assistant and turns back around. By the third day after Nina leaves, I check the mirror, and the marks on my neck have faded. I nearly cheer out loud. Time to finally start the renovation plan. I head to the shops and take my time picking out exactly what I want. I grab 2 beanbag chairs, a neat little coffee table, and a few lush, thriving plants. Back home, I send the new bedding set straight to be washed. I'm in the middle of getting everything sorted when someone suddenly steps right into my path. Eli, you're just going to redecorate Nina's room without asking her? His tone is sharp, openly hostile. I turn and look at him, a slow smile on my face, chin resting in my hand, completely unbothered. This is my wife's room. I can do whatever I want with it. She has no objections. So what exactly is your problem? The moment the words my wife leave my mouth, I watch his face go rigid. I wave the butler over. Who is this? The butler glances at the man standing there with a scowl, looking pained. He's Uncle Roy's son, sir. Uncle Roy is our chef. I turn that over in my head. The chef's son. And he thinks he gets a say in what goes on in this house. The butler shoots the man a sharp look. I lean back against the sofa, casual as ever, and ask the butler, didn't Nina say before she left that while she's away, I'm in charge? That I can do whatever I like with her room? The butler nods right away. That's exactly right, sir. Ma'am was very clear before she left. While she's away, you're in charge, and she asked us to give you our full cooperation. I turn back to the man in front of me, genuinely curious now. So since my wife has made it perfectly clear that I call the shots here, tell me, are you saying you don't recognize my authority, or do you just not care? The butler's expression hardens instantly. Derek, you are a guest here, not a member of this household. What gives you the right to speak to sir like that? Go and get your father. Uncle Roy comes rushing out of the kitchen moments later. Once he hears what happened, he understands immediately. His son has caused trouble. Derek, you told me you had nowhere to stay over the break, and I went out of my way to ask ma'am to let you stay here. She was kind enough to say yes. What do you think you're doing? Uncle Roy is furious. It turns out Uncle Roy and Derek's mother divorced years ago. Derek chose to stay with his stepfather back then, refusing to go with Uncle Roy. So Uncle Roy only took his younger son with him, and now this is how their reunion goes. I'll send him away right now, Uncle Roy says, his face heavy with shame. I look at the disappointment in his eyes and speak quietly. Uncle Roy, don't take it too hard. I know you've always been decent and hardworking. Some people you just have to watch out for. Don't let them bring you down. Thank you, sir, Uncle Roy says, voice full of gratitude. Once I head upstairs, Uncle Roy turns to Derek, eyes cold with disappointment. Get out. You're not welcome here. Dad, Derek tries to argue. I'm not your dad. Didn't you want to be with your stepfather? Go find him then. Uncle Roy feels the bitterness settle in his chest. He thought, blood is blood. If he could help, he would. But this, no rules, no respect. Speaking to him like dirt, and worse, having ideas about ma'am that he never should have entertained, this is just too far out of line. Derek sees Uncle Roy dress him down right in front of me, and the humiliation ignites something. Fine, I'll leave. Like I even want to be here. He storms back to his room and starts throwing things into his bag, telling himself Uncle Roy is just bluffing. He won't actually go through with it, but Derek stalls as long as he can, and Uncle Roy never comes. Not once. Just as Derek decides to go check, Uncle Roy walks in, face like stone. Pack your things and get out. Derek snaps completely. He shoves everything into his suitcase and snarls, don't ever come crawling to me. Uncle Roy watches without a flicker of emotion. At Villa 1, his monthly salary is solid, with full benefits. His younger son is a different story entirely. Top grades every year, scholarship after scholarship, polite and helpful to the bone, always pitching in whenever he visits. The other staff love him. And then there's Derek. Lazy, greedy, with a mind that wanders somewhere it shouldn't. And don't bother calling me. You're the one who said you hated me, said you never wanted to see my face. Uncle Roy Roy doesn't soften a single word. Derek chokes on a response. He glares at Uncle Roy, drags his suitcase out, and slinks away. The butler puts a hand on Uncle Roy's shoulder. Your son was completely out of line. I doubt he'll cause trouble again. Good. I don't want to see him, Uncle Roy says, and means every word. Ma'am is usually very forgiving, but when it comes to sir, nobody really knows where the line is. You handled this well. The butler's words carry a quiet warning underneath. The last thing he needs is Derek's mess landing on him. Everything I ordered starts arriving. The freshly washed bedding comes back too. I get everyone moving and start setting up the room. I stand at the edge of the balcony, calling out instructions as they swap in the new bedding. The bed looks completely different now. I can't help smiling. New carpet too. A sleek lamp and some clean, simple decor on the nightstand. A room that used to feel cold and empty is finally starting to feel like somewhere a person actually lives. Then I spot the curtains, still the old ones. I slap my forehead. Almost forgot. I get those swapped out too. Once the curtains are up, the whole room transforms in an instant. What used to be cold and lifeless is now warm and welcoming. I feel genuinely happy. I snap a few photos and send them to Nina with one line. Well? Pretty great, right? Nina is deep in work when her phone buzzes. She opens it and sees the room, and then my selfie. Something tugs at her. A quiet regret. She wishes she had brought me along. When Nina doesn't reply for a while, curiosity gets the better of me and I video call her. She picks up instantly. That makes me wonder. What are you looking at? I ask, noticing her eyes are fixed on something off screen. I lean closer to my phone without thinking. The photos you just sent, she says softly. She props her phone up at an angle and goes back to work, keeping the call open while we stay on screen together. What's so interesting about them? I scroll back through the photos, genuinely puzzled. They look pretty normal to me. She just smiles and says nothing. That secretive look makes my skin prickle. Please get whatever weird idea is in your head out of there, I mutter. Then she laughs. Not a small laugh, a real one. It catches me completely off guard. A wide, open, genuine laugh is so much more magnetic than her usual ice. I reach out and tap her face on the screen. You look so good when you laugh. Why don't you do it more often? She lets the smile fade slowly and looks at me, soft and steady. There wasn't much worth smiling about before. That stops me cold. Something aches. Was there really nothing at all? We end up talking for a long time, easy and unhurried, until she finishes work and the call drops. Nina stares at the dark screen. She regrets not bringing me. After a moment, she calls her assistant. What's the situation? They're still stalling on purpose. Might be another stretch. By tomorrow at the latest. If they keep this up, pull out of the deal. Got it, the assistant says. Nina hangs up and goes to get some rest. First thing the next morning, she wakes up to my messages. Dinner photos, flowers picked from the garden, and shots of the finished balcony. Looking through them genuinely lifts her mood. She sends a reply and heads out. Her assistant meets her. Still nothing from their side. Book the earliest flight back tomorrow, Nina says. I'm done wasting time here. Handle today's business yourself. Call me if anything comes up. She grabs her keys and goes. When she comes back, she's carrying several bags. The assistant gets a call from the other party and goes to find Nina, only to walk in on her sorting through a collection of sleek bags, accessories, clothes, and shoes. Eyes wide. Who would ever expect the coldest boss in the room to come back with shopping bags? Boss, these are... The assistant can't help asking. For my husband. He likes this kind of thing. The moment she mentions me, a quiet smile surfaces on her face without her even noticing. The assistant realizes, in that moment, that the boss is just a person too. When you meet the right one, even the coldest walls come down. Boss, they're pushing for a bigger cut now. The assistant remembers why they came. Stick to the original terms. We leave tomorrow. Nina's tone is flat and final. The other party assumed she would bend eventually for the sake of business. They miscalculated completely. Meanwhile, in a castle somewhere, a man swirls his wine and asks the person beside him, "Any news? Smith, you've made a serious mistake." Nina has already had her assistant book a flight back home for tomorrow. The blonde man's face drains of color. He shoots upright from the sofa and slams his glass onto the table. What did you say? They're walking away? Nina's reach in Europe is not something you take lightly. Even we treat her carefully. She came here personally to close this deal, and you chose to sabotage it. How did you think this was going to go? Smith opens his mouth to explain, but his phone rings. He sees the name and goes pale. He answers fast. Smith, you have some nerve. I worked hard to bring Nina here, and you went and offended her. You fool. The voice on the other end is pure fury. Then the line goes dead. No chance to say a word. Smith stares at the phone, sick with regret. How did David find out this fast? The person beside him shakes their head. Smith, this is just the beginning. And sure enough, after David's call, more than a dozen calls follow. Every one of them from someone Smith cannot afford to cross. They all want the same thing. He needs to go apologize to Nina. And from the way they say it, if he doesn't do it today, forget the deal. Even the assets he already has could be at risk. Where is Nina staying? Smith has no choice but to swallow his pride and go beg. Someone gives him an address. Whether he actually gets to see her, that's entirely up to him. Night falls. Nina and I are deep in a video call, laughing and talking, when the assistant knocks and steps in. Boss, Mr. Smith is here requesting to see you. Nina doesn't even pause. No. The assistant nods and leaves. I'm immediately curious. What's going on? You don't look happy. Something bothering you? Nina's brow creases, and there's a trace of irritation in her voice. Just a work headache. Some people are just never satisfied. She tells me about Smith trying to squeeze an extra 10% out of her. My expression shifts the moment I hear it. This woman is on global wealth rankings. And Smith thought he could pull that kind of move on her? So what are you going to do? I ask. Nina's face is set. I came here at David's invitation. Smith has no idea who he's dealing with. The deal isn't worth it. I'm coming home tomorrow. My face lights up. Oh good, you have to bring me something. Nina puts on an exaggerated look of regret. Early morning flight, probably no time to shop. I fake outrage and glare at her. I hang up without another word, muttering to myself. A top CEO goes on a business trip and can't even bring her husband a gift. Completely unacceptable. Nina stares at the ended call, caught off guard by how fast I hung up. She laughs and shakes her head. She plugs in her phone, goes to get ready for bed. Downstairs, Smith is still lingering, refusing to leave. He is desperate to get in front of Nina. The assistant steps in politely but firmly. Mr. Smith, our boss is on a video call with her husband right now. This isn't a good time. Smith seethes, but he can't afford to make another scene. Then I'll wait. The assistant smiles pleasantly. Mr. Smith, our boss has already booked the first flight out tomorrow morning. Smith panics. We can sign the contract right now. The assistant holds steady, calm, and unbothered. Mr. Smith, don't worry about the contract. Smith's face goes ugly fast. The assistant won't budge, no matter what angle he tries. Smith slinks off for now, but tells someone to keep watch. The moment Nina and her team step outside, he'll make his move.